A reading from the book of Matthew. If another member of the church sins against you, go and point out the fault when the two of you are alone. If the member listens to you, you have regained that one. But if you are not listened to, take one or two others along with you, so that every word may be confirmed by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. If the member refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if the offender refuses to listen even to the church, let such a one be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector. Truly I tell you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Again, truly I tell you, if 2 of you agree on earth about anything you ask, it will be done for you by my Father in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there among them. Wow, what a powerful passage. The first thing that strikes me about this passage is the orderliness in which Jesus is teaching his disciples to approach differences, relational differences. That if someone has sinned against you somehow, that first you approach that person individually and lay out the fault that you have with him or her in hopes of resolving the issue. If the person won't listen to you, you go and grab a couple of people to be witnesses, in a sense, as you try again to reach out to that individual and resolve the difference. And if that doesn't work, then you take the issue to the church and let the church become involved and help to intervene and bring about peace between the 2 of you. And if that doesn't even work, the person is then cast out from the church. What I love the most about this, though, the orderliness is wonderful, because doing something in an orderly way can help people to avoid unnecessary conflicts if they're open and willing. If not, Jesus gives us license to remove that person from our midst. But what I most especially appreciate is the very end, where Jesus says, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there in the midst of them. How much would it change our relationships with one another if we thought of it as Jesus being there in the midst of us? Would you change the way that you respond to people if you thought about, hey, where 2 or more are gathered in my name, Jesus is in the midst of us? Well, shouldn't it solve all church conflicts, right? For our recognition that Jesus is there in the midst of us. It should. It should change the way we think about our brothers and sisters and how we treat our brothers and sisters, knowing that Jesus is there in the midst of us. And he has given us this orderly process for resolving conflicts. Life could be very, very different if we would take these things into consideration and practice them. For many people, when there's a conflict, and first of all, instead of going directly to the person, you go to your friend, your neighbor, sometimes anyone who will listen, and gripe about that person and what they did to you. Going straight to that person makes much more sense. There's no need to grouse about it to other people. Go directly to the person with whom you have the problem, and hopefully it would be resolved right then and there. Your relationship could be repaired and you could move on. So I think that for all of us, we should focus on this last part, that where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, Jesus is there in the midst of us. And that's true of our day-to-day relationships with one another as Christians, just as true as it is there as it is when we're gathered together to worship. Amen.